So what we're going to do now is look at what is it for you. Mimi's statement was getting too big for her britches. You know, who said, doesn't even matter who said, but what was said, what is in your mind that's having you play small? Mm-hmm. Can you write that down as one sentence? Mm-hmm. Don't be too big for your britches. Don't hog the limelight. Who do you think you are? Yeah. Nice Canadian boys don't do that.
Sorry, S-A-U-R-R-Y.
So who would be willing to share their blocking sentence, just to call it out in the room? You don't have to get up here and say it. Go ahead.
You need to be humble. Pride cometh before the fall.
You need to be humble. Pride cometh before the fall. Jenny, what you got?
I said I am just a social media coordinator.
Ooh. Oh, I'm just a social media coordinator. So who am I to be bigger than that? Phil?
I got the ignoring of my money relationship. I just ignore the relationship I have with money. I just kind of ignore it.
You ignore your relationship with money. So what would be the painful thought or the curse that goes with that? Is it like,
I'm not good with money.
I'm not good with money.
I just ignore it. And that's not a good thing. Yeah.
It's kind of not so good for a relationship.
Not really.
And you have a relationship with money, like everything. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
And are you ignoring it because it's dirty or it's beneath you or?
I try to find the belief. No, I just think it's just out of my view. It's more.
Okay, so money's in my blind spot. Money's out of my view.
Spot,
okay, money's in my blind spot. That would be a good sentence.
That's good. Yes.
Yeah. So write down the one simple sentence.
Right.
Money's in my blind spot in your case. Tim, what you got?
I don't think I'm interesting.
I don't think I'm interesting.
I don't think my story's interesting.
I don't think my story is interesting. Awesome.
That's cool.
Those I think everybody could go for. Failing one, you can always borrow somebody else's. Chad, what you got?
I can't narrow down me to one thing.
I can't narrow
Me down.
me down to one
Nice.
thing.
Yeah.
People, what do you do? Well, how much time do you have?
Right. Okay, good. Mimi, we have yours.
We got britches.
We got,
Yeah.
don't get too big for your britches. Chris, what?
Yeah, mine is what if I'm actually not enough?
What if I'm actually not enough?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Mark,
I had similar to Bill's, but money is a distraction.
money is a distraction.
That's
Yeah.
actually clear.
Jennifer?
Who am I to do that, say that? Who am I?
Who am I? Exactly. Who am I to do that, say that, be that big, be that bright, be that beautiful?
The average.
Yeah, what you got, Mickey?
You only get one shot.
Ooh, fear. You only get one shot. Better be right. That'll crush your spirit. Right? And?
Be good or we'll be on the street.
Be good or we'll be on the street. Oh, another fear.
Wow.
Fear. Whoa, all right. Thank you for sharing. Chris?
Mine comes directly from my father.
A surprise.
Surprise. I'm not disciplined, educated, or serious enough to be great.
That's 3 curses in one. I'm
Well,
not
yeah.
disciplined, educated, or serious enough.
Serious. Wow.
All right. Thank you, Dad.
Bless his heart.
Wow.
Yeah, and for each one of you, can you hear somebody saying this? Like, who planted this curse?
Yeah.
And so does this thought even belong to you, right? What have you got, my dear?
Well, I had one thing, but I actually was told recently that I was intimidating, and I don't use this word, but they use this word because, and I understand, bitch.
You're intimidating and a bitch if you
Because I'm
Are
very
everything.
strong and powerful, and yet at the same time I can be very loving and caring.
I've had that one too. You're intimidating. It's
I
like,
first started
"Yeah."
out with, you'll be so, people thinking I'm conceited because I have confidence there. So
Right.
it kinda all fits in there.
Yeah, you're conceited. You're too confident.
I don't want to use that other word because I don't like that.
We don't go for the other
Yeah.
word. All right, so write down one simple sentence. You have 3, so just choose one that's most sticky for you. And you can just take a breath and kind of just notice which one goes, that's the one. And then I'm going to actually do a little coaching. And maybe Mimi would like to play with me. This segment is courtesy of Mimi.
All right. Here we go. Hey, I'm totally willing.
There you go. On
And
that
there's
side,
a
'cause
reason.
The
Okay.
mic's on that side. We can even sit down if you want to.
Huh?
You
No,
wanna sit
no,
down?
no. I'll stand.
I love you.
I do too. I love you. I'm like, this morning I'm driving here going, because I had no idea what it was, you know, and I've been trying to come for weeks, and I'm like, now why am I going? Oh, I'm going to really love her. And then I got my crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, so cool.
All right.
It's okay.
All right, good.
Yeah.
So we're going to do the peace method, which the coaches in the room are familiar with. So it's 5 simple steps, and you know it's an homage to Eckhart Tolle, Byron Katie, Socrates,
Love all of
Jesus,
that,
Buddha,
yeah.
all of that stuff. So the first step we've already done, which is identify one painful thought to focus on. I'm too big for my britches, and then
Don't get too big.
don't get
'cause
too big.
That's dangerous.
Don't get too big for your britches.
Right.
Let's get it right here. All right, so the first step, and you can benefit from Mimi leading the charge, but you work your thought as she works the process and reveals some interesting things that may also be, wow, a pop for you.
Okay.
Okay. So the first step is just to come into the present moment. So everybody can sit comfortably in your chairs. You can put your feet on the floor if that's more comfortable. Close your eyes if you like. So inhale and relax your body. Exhale and smile. Inhale, coming fully into the present moment. And exhale, knowing that it's a wonderful moment. And again, inhale and relax your body. Exhale and smile. Inhale, coming fully into the present moment. And exhale, knowing that it's a wonderful moment. Okay, so now that we're centered in the present moment, let's have a look at don't get too big for your britches and explore, is this thought, don't get too big for your britches, about the past, the present, or the future?
The thought is rooted in the past,
Okay.
but it is said with a threat that it will destroy your future if you don't bring it forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really good clarity there.
Yeah.
Good to notice. So the thought actually stems from the past. The curse was granted her in the past, and it has a threat about the future. And what I like to say about the past is that we can never change it. We can only forgive and release it and heal it. And that when there's some incompleteness on that, then we end up polluting every day because we bring the shit from yesterday with us and we have it again. So there may be an opportunity here to do some releasing around that, if you wish. Okay, so just good to notice. She said past, there's no power there. She said future, well, there's no power actually in projecting a hypothetical future. Your only point of power is the present moment, and this thought is not in the present moment.
It is if I
If you,
get too big for my britches.
okay, so it
Yeah.
threatens the
So
present
yeah.
moment. Okay,
It'll go all 3.
and if you were to put percentages on it, what would you, not with your mind, but with your body, what do you energetically sense?
Percentages change based upon how much I'm stepping out and asking everybody to let me shine.
Okay.
So if I'm going to say I'm going to step out and shine, and not going to, but I'm doing it now, then the percentages get huge for the moment.
Okay.
So they change actually based upon how much I'm crossing the line of the rules.
All right. Okay, good to notice. So this is a really handy mechanism for keeping you small. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's the P of the peace method. We come into the present. We see whether the thought is in the present or not. So the E is around expressing your thoughts and feelings, which you already started to do. Is there anything further that you notice that is a consequence of holding this thought? Don't get too big for your britches.
Well, I mean, you know, I am a coach, so I got the consciousness of it.
Yeah.
And the consciousness is the only times I've stepped really big is when somebody's tricked me into it. And then once I'm in it, I used to do Tony's Vital Life program, 2,000 people in London, but I had to get tricked into doing it by somebody who kind of walked me and went, don't look, it's all fine. Yes, it's fine. And then it's like, whoa, 2,000 people, but it was fine by then. So if I get tricked out of that little yibbit, scared place,
Right.
then I'm fine.
Okay. So God needs to
Yes.
pull some strings like he did to get you here.
Yeah, I'm a connected. I have connectedness in
All right.
every single one of the 3 strength finders that I did.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's the God piece always.
All right. And how else do you react when you believe the thought?
You just gave me a really interesting piece.
Okay.
Because one of the things that I'm doing these days with the fear pieces is I just give it to God. It's like, this is not mine.
Yeah.
I cannot deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
Here, it's yours.
Okay, let's do that right now.
And it does release.
It does.
So as you said, you got the God piece. I'm like, yeah.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
another
I
one to
do
give.
have
I know.
that God piece.
Well, and it's like, I've got that God consciousness, so this is another thing to give.
All right.
But I didn't remember.
Would you like to
I
give
could
it
do
now?
I am.
All
I'm
right.
giving it at this very moment.
You are giving it at this very moment. So each of you can follow along and give your piece to God also. We got some powerful prayer warriors in the room, so this is going to be supported by this awesome energy. And just notice that as you're giving this, don't get too big for your britches, or as you're giving whatever your sticky sentence is over to God, that you can allow the thought without any velcroing to it. You can allow the thought, don't get too big for your britches, or whatever yours is. You can allow the thought and go, whoa, isn't that interesting? I was given that thought as a child. I can have kindness to that thought. I can have kindness to the person who said that to me. I can have kindness to me for up to this moment, believing it sometimes. And it's not necessary to have any further understanding to give it over to God. God's always available, but you have to knock, you have to make the request. So would you like to make a declaration that you're giving it to God now?
I give this fear about being too big for my britches to shine to God.
Woohoo! All right.
Yes.
Very good, very good. Nice, nice. Okay, please take advantage and do this yourself silently for whatever is up with you. I'm just going to spend a little bit more in the allowing. So the allowing, when we fight a painful thought, when we make ourselves wrong, when we receive the thought as an attack, it creates even more angst. And when we can just notice, this isn't even my thought. It wasn't even my thought initially.
Wasn't even the person's thought who gave it to me. They weren't like that as a 3-year-old.
It wasn't
They
even their
learned it
thought.
fair and square, and they passed it on, and they passed it
It's a thought virus.
Yeah.
It's not personal, really.
Yep.
And so we just need to take vitamin C, right?
Right.
Or vitamin G, God, right? And so we can have a kindness and notice that there are these thoughts in the collective unconscious. You know, like don't get too big for your britches. And we are sensitive beings like radio antennas. We're picking up this frequency, and then we make the error of believing that that thought is our personal thought, and then we hold on to it and we feel like we have to do so much work to get rid of it or make peace with it or live it out. But hey, maybe we don't need to. We can allow it, notice it, let it go. What do you notice that you could possibly appreciate either about the thought, don't get too big for your britches, or about the person who first said it to you, or about where it has brought you right here, right now?
so many things.
Okay.
We were talking about Hero's Journey.
Yeah.
And the questions, I think, in order. The real purpose of that thought is don't get stuck in your ego and forget the beauty of others. And that's a good purpose. The person that taught me was my mother, and she should have been the president, of the country. She had that brilliance, but she tamped it down. She learned to do that. And for me, the gigantic gift in any of these kinds of things is the hero's journey, because to me, all the dragons are inside us. And as soon as we hold the key that inactivates or unplugs the plug that inactivates that dragon, it kind of, almost like one that's been blown up, it just kind of collapses in on itself. No danger, no nothing. It just loses all its air.
Yeah.
But it's like Chad and I were talking about, on the hero's journey, I can't be who I need to be if I don't understand fears.
Right.
If I don't understand that there's something much more, I'm a maximizer like a bunch of us. If I can't see that there is magnificence in somebody that they can't quite get out because there are a couple of little dragons in there, but it's in there, then I can't help them do that. And so some of the gift for me, I believe, in fact I really know, is that once I make peace with that, now I have the ability to help somebody else make peace.
I like what Mimi's saying, so I'm going to take take advantage of this teachable moment or shareable moment. Because I think in our society, we always want to be richer, we always want to be slimmer, we always want to be more and more successful. There's no room in our thinking for anything but this trajectory. But actually, the hero's journey, again and again, it's a circle. And again, we come up to the light side, we then go into the depths where we are challenged to our core, and we struggle, and we battle dragons, and we end up bringing back the Holy Grail, something very precious. And then we share what we have learned. We share that Holy Grail of knowledge with the world, and then we're in the bright side again. And then again, we have another, challenge. Yeah. And so when, as a culture in America, we think, oh, it's all got to be light, and we don't befriend the dark, we collapse ourselves into this narrow, always trying to be happier, it gets very squeaky. And I love what you're saying. So not to say that there wasn't struggle in that hero's journey.
Yeah.
And to honor the underworld, to honor the darkness of that, to honor the hardening. It's like a steel sword being forged in the fire, or a diamond, or a pearl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's building a muscle. If I wasn't doing something hard that built my muscle,
right,
I would get no muscle. I'd be strong. So this is one of those things that I think that all the dragons help us build a muscle that in the beginning we don't know we're building muscles. So we're like, oh, damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
So look for yourself. How could you have a deeper appreciation for your struggle? How could you have a deeper appreciation, as Mimi's saying, that you're building some kind of spiritual or emotional muscle? Okay, so now we're going to go back to the peace method.
Okay.
And we're going to look at the contrary.
Okay.
So what is the contrary to don't get too big for your britches? Keeping it really simple.
Really simple is your soul chose to come into this life with some gifts. And the thing that just came to me is almost like a little rebel thing. How dare you not be as brilliant and magnificent as you brought into the world? And if it weren't in that little bit of a rebel way, it would be your soul came into this world with gifts. And you have the opportunity.
I like the rebel way. Like, how dare you not get too big for your britches is what I would suggest.
How dare you not explode the britches.
How dare you not explode
be
the britches?
huge?
Okay.
Yeah.
So whatever yours is, it's usually better just to change one word or change, add, or subtract one word. But this is fine. She's advanced. So how dare you not explode the britches? Let's see if we can make it a little bit simpler, though, because I think how dare you not is really the right energy.
Yeah.
But do explode your britches.
Right.
And
So-
make that just a little
Okay.
bit cleaner energy. So tell me one way that you know that you should explode your britches.
Okay. So,
Or you could, and it's a
Yep.
good thing.
so all the real essence of my dreams are bigger than the britches I accidentally picked up.
Nice. Okay. So
They
tell me,
weren't my britches to
they weren't your
begin with.
britches. So tell me another way that
Uh,
do explode your britches is
okay.
true.
I don't have a story in my head for do explode your britches, but I do now. But the story is, when you're 3, you have a certain size britches,
Uh-huh.
but those britches won't fit you at 25.
Exactly.
So you have to get another
You
set
have
of
to
britches.
continue
Yep.
reflecting that you're growing
Don't try
and evolving.
stay so little to wear the 3-year-old's
Nice.
britches.
Nice. Okay, good.
That works.
That's good. That's good. All right. So for you, can you find one thing that's true, or 2 or 3, that the opposite is true? Like, money's in my blind spot. Is that true? Like, how about money is not in my blind spot? Can you find one way that money is not in my blind spot is true? So for you, the fact that you're even saying that it's in your blind spot shows it is not, because you wouldn't know that it's in your blind spot. You know what I mean?
I think as you're going through this, the word fulfillment came in. Fulfillment, and you actually have you already have your example.
Yeah.
The britches were exploded when I was on stage with 2,000 people.
100%.
That's
And
true,
that
yeah.
just becomes your new standard.
Yeah, 100%.
That's your new standard.
That's your new britch size.
That's your
Yeah.
new bridge size.
Well,
2,000
because-
people.
Exactly. I need bigger britches for that, and I got
And
them.
you got it.
Nice.
And I
You
keep
already have
looking
them.
at the ones in the
Yeah.
closet that were for a 2-year-old. I got a 5-year-old grandniece.
Yeah.
I can't wear her britches.
No.
Nice.
That's
Nice.
fun. That
Okay.
works.
Does anybody need help with their contrary while we're on this point? Everybody's doing it? Okay, what's yours? Yeah, hang on for a moment. No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
okay.
You need to be humble. Pride comes before the fall.
Okay. So how about, let's pick one sentence or the other. You don't need to be humble. Tell me one way that it's true that you don't need to be humble.
Well, if I'm too humble, then I never talk about anything that I'm working on.
Exactly.
And then
That wouldn't be
what's
good.
the point of working on anything if it's just for myself? I don't get to share it with anyone.
Right. Okay, so that's one way. So tell me another way that, sorry, I lost, what was the initial thought?
You need to be humble.
You need to be humble. Oh, so you don't need to be humble. Tell me another way that you don't need to be humble is true.
I think that was the main one that I was thinking before. So I guess it's kind of the same, but if I'm not humble, then I'm not sharing anything
Mm-hmm.
with anyone.
Isn't humble like an act, like that we put on, that we need to act? Humble, that we need to act. Deferential, that we need to act in a way that people won't see us as intimidating, right? We need to act in a way that people won't see us or perceive us as too big for our britches. So maybe you can just be.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know what your belief system is, but you are here with Jenny, so that gives me a bit of a possible tip. Maybe I'll go here. So what is your belief system? Do you think that you are part of God, created by God, created in the image and likeness of God? Okay, so as a being created in the image and likeness of God, I'm just saying, that would you be humble? You would be like, I'm Katie. Made by God. Perfect. Flaws and all.
Yeah.
Can I?
How does that land?
Good.
Good. Yes?
Can I add
Yeah,
something?
add something.
Wasn't one of your top 5 things woo?
Yes.
So if you're going to win over others, is humility part of that, really?
Well,
Nice.
I've been told that it needs to be, that I need to be humble, but then that puts me in between because then it's bad if I'm.
But what really wins over others?
What's
in
your
opinion?
definition of humility?
Yeah, that's exactly
That's-
right. Yeah.
There's 2 ways I think you're looking at this.
Okay, too much talking because we're actually doing Mimi, and that was a discretion. That's too many. And this was a special bonus segment. It's not even on the agenda.
A room full of coaches, come on.
I
We're
know.
all ready to jump in, roll up
So-
our sleeves here. Come on now.
So just play with it, and that who you are is created with woo, as Chris is saying. So someone who was created by God with woo would show up with woo. Anything else is shortchanging God and Katie and everybody in her life.
So you're
Right.
So the through line between the two of them is identity, claiming identity between the two. Which identity do you want to be seen as?
Mm-hmm.
And the belief is actually actually taking out the identity.
Mm-hmm.
They're both their strengths. They're strength finders,
Exactly.
you know?
And for me, it's less about how I want to be seen because that's a facade cover for me.
Sure.
It's how do I want to be.
Right.
Yeah.
versus-
Yeah.
The second one I actually want to comment on a little bit, but that's going to be another digression. But I think that pride goeth before a fall is a curse that might affect other people in the room. So I want to just say something about that. So the coaches in the room will probably follow this, but you're not a coach, so I'll see if I can explain it simply. So there's energy frequencies that are lower, bad feelings, good feelings. If you're in a lower energy frequency, you're going to show up in a certain way. So my work with the Grief Coach Academy, grief is a very low vibration. Anger has more life force than grief. So if you're in grief, it's actually good to reach for anger because going downhill from grief is a very bad place to go when you're not very far to go down. And then you don't even want to be on the planet and you can be suicidal. So from grief, anger is good. From anger, pride is good. But pride is a negative emotion because pride is, I got it going on and you don't. I'm American and you're not. I'm rich and you're not. I'm white and you're not. Whatever. And so pride has got the, I am, you're not. So pride actually is a negative emotion, and if we hold ourselves, it is the last negative emotion before courage, which is the tipping point before positive and negative. Above courage, we've got willingness, acceptance, forgiveness, reason, thinking things through, logic, love, peace, enlightenment. So it is true that pride is an energy field that is negative. And it's kind of sneaky because it has enough energy to run the US military, you know? And so it can be seductive as a place to stop. So I think it is true, not as a judgment of Katie, not as a particular assessment of any one person, but that any negative emotion, if you hold that frequency, is not going to show up as good in your life. And that it may precede a fall. It's a negative emotion, and you live in a negative space, negative stuff is going to happen to you. I know, because I lived in the grief space, which is even lower, and negative stuff happened to me. Car accidents, blah, blah, blah. So but the pride goeth before the fall. It could be an invitation to awareness as opposed to a sticky attack. Like, don't get too big for your britches is a sticky attack. But pride goeth before a fall. It's like, oh, have an awareness. Are you living in a place of courage, love, willingness, forgiveness, peace, logic? Or are you in the, I got it going on, and you are not cool enough to hang with me, right?
Yeah.
Does that help release that one? Okay. Thank you for a good question. Oh, the digression on the digression.
Oh, it's good because it's got it all has the same feel that runs. You know,
Yeah.
it's like a river running through.
Right.
Something that's a governor. On
Exactly,
our
a
cars.
governor.
Yeah.
So sometimes we can notice those governors as just incoming, useful information. All right, so the last step of the peace method is enthusiasm, which literally means to be filled with God.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
You know that.
I do.
So given this discovery process that you've done around don't get too big for your britches, what do you choose to do or be now?
I'm buying new britches. I work really well on metaphor, and that's a great one.
You're buying
Yeah.
new britches. What do they look like, feel like?
Adorable, of course.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing that I might do is even create, like, on part of a vision board, like, 5-year-old britches and something gorgeous.
Nice.
Because
Great. The contrast.
Yeah, it shifts.
Nice.
So then when I find myself going to pulled back a little bit,
Yeah.
I can go, oh, those are the baby britches. And then I'm not mad at myself. Then I just go, oh,
yeah,
I
yeah.
got some cool
I
big
got
girl
some
britches.
big girl superwoman britches.
So
Great.
that's great.
All right, so that's completing those 5 steps that we did, looking at the peace method. So do you have anything else you want to share with the room about what you discovered, or do you feel complete, or is there anything further you want to share about this
Well,
process?
because I'm so shy to talk, I think I've shared it all. Thank you.
Good.
That was wonderful. Thank you. That
Good.
was fun.
That's fun. You're on.